We're going to work on Obadiah, and if you notice, I'm updating my copyrights from like 95 on these. So I thought I would go through Obadiah here and show you the text and what goes on by finding the hidden format. Whoops, this has got to be a little bit more prepared here. I should have been. Now, as you can see, I got a start on it. This is to help me get going. So I know in the beginning it takes a little bit, but I should note that our creator has made me see him 8 times. So if you're wanting to know what I know, listen up and watch. Because what I'm doing is I'm actually getting rid of a lot of text that's not necessary and correcting the text to be truthful. And what I do is when I'm replacing a word, I put it in green and then I do this and say this will be out. So right off the bat, I needed to start doing this so I could get this 2 verse, 2 verse, 2 verse going. As you see, 2 verse, 2 verse. It took a little bit to find that, and I'm just thinking that it's going to eat up too much time when I begin these, so I'm going to start most of these by doing this and then showing you how I do that regularly. These are added words using the 1977 NSAB, because over to my right, your left, or whatever, I have a Bible program that allows me to do quick searches and also find and show you the difference of how they corrupted the text. Now, what I have also been doing is putting in the original Hebrew word to figure out what the word actually is. And what I've done here is know that the word is Lord. Even though they started with Lord, not always all that time is correct. So usually it needs more. They got the Lord. Well, make it first person. We'll do the Lord or our Lord. Now here's one of those times that they used, I believe, all capital letters for G-O-D, and it's actually YV. You would know the text as YHVH. I have simplified it for everybody to now understand, because a lot of people will use a O, which was not in the Hebrew language. A lot of people don't know that sometimes the letter H on the end is silent. And this way puts everybody on the same page and quickly understands just by pronouncing these 2 letters. We get really close to, I believe, the true name for our creator. Now, I'm going to quickly do this and here, because I don't really think I need to explain too much changing. Over here I did, because this is what happens when you know the text. It wasn't to the nations, okay? Nations is not a kingdom. Example, a nation is a made-up group of tribes, like states. United States is really a nation, because the text in the Hebrew side give us the word nation as a grouping of all the tribes, but they were kind of individual, had their own court system, had their own, almost like what you have in the United States. But the object here is everything else was kingdoms. Now, what we're seeing here is the story starts out with Edom, concerning Edom. So what time is this taking place? Well, shall we go against her in battle? I had to put in the word David for the simple fact that getting rid of the word her is more correct. And it was for battle, in battle. The thing here is The only time that the text actually speaks of Edom going out and fighting is at the time of David. And let me put this into perspective for you as well. This is my study on Kings. And what you see is here is David's time, okay? David put everything under him, and Solomon, everything was under him. Before then, they were two different tribes or two different nations. Judah and Simon were together, and the other 10 were together. There's no understanding why that was done the first time, but we know that because of what Solomon did, he made divided the kingdoms after Solomon, and he done it by a prophet doing this. But you're seeing the time here is way up here, okay? So this is a long time that goes on here. This is a couple hundred years. I think it's 400 years that we go through before they're destroyed. Yeah, I've got down here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't see it, but that's, I've got an estimated year. Now, what we're talking about is, or the story is talking about this picture here. Now, up here at the top is Damascus. Let me see if I can zoom in and take you up to where, because Damascus isn't, yeah, it's right up at the top. You're seeing this word here, but this is where Damascus is located. And this was Aram at the time, or the Armenians. Now, they had already taken over Lebanon at this time, which is the land for Shem. Now, what happens is down here is Edom at the bottom, okay? Oh, I guess, let me see if I can, this is not working very well. How come that didn't open up? Okay. Huh. I thought I had this set up where I could have opened up. What am I using? Am I using this one? Okay, sorry about that. I thought I was, okay, I'm opening it up just a little bit. Oh, I must have the original on. Okay. Okay, well, sorry. Let's get me back here. Okay, anyways, Edom is down here and it is on a mount. Like this is a mount, this is a mount, this is a mount. Down here is the mount where Moses actually was called over by our Creator. What I do have here is that, whoops, that isn't what I wanted to do. What I want to do is kind of blow it up a little bit. But you can see, anyways, Edom had sent all the way up to here, to this guy here, to say, let's come and fight David. And what they were doing was Edom was going to try to take this territory, and Aram was going to take this area. Okay, so this is at this time what was going on. David was not fully established as king of everything, and they were taking advantage. So this is the time that Obadiah has taken place. Because when you just jump into the book Obadiah, you don't know this, so you don't know in perspective when you would go through to clean up some of the words. what it is. It's just like this here. You wouldn't have known it was the Battle of David. Okay, they just distorted this. All right. And it wasn't nations. They only went to one place to do this, and that was the Armenians. I could have put Aram in here, but Armenians is the understanding by, where I'm talking about now. Let's see, over here, yes, again, I needed to change nations. Now, because I'm not going through here and talking about everything I've done, it's pretty visual of what I've done. But here I left myself a note. I will make you small. The word small is not correct, because after this time, David, we know, goes and makes them pay tribute to him. This is in one of the Psalms. I can't remember which one it was David talks about how all these other kingdoms became subject to him. He didn't go and rule over them. And at Solomon's time, they were still paying tribute to Solomon for what David did. And this is actually where David got a lot of the silver and gold and the bronze to gather that material together to have the house for our Creator built. So this is the time. It's later in David's life because he's already moved to Jerusalem. Now, as you can see, I've had to add a few words here. But, that's what I was getting at, was small. That the word small might need to be changed to be removed, or I shall remove you, because they were reduced to nothing. I will reduce you. Not make you just small, but the object is that word needs to be changed. It's just that I wanted to show you the thinking that's going on here as I'm doing some of these, and I'll get back to that word, because what I'm going to do is go quickly through it, and then it'll get a little cleaner, and then be able to edit it a little bit better. Who's saying in their heart, I'm going to just start right here, who will bring me down to earth? Whoops, I better start up here, because these are our Creator's words here. And as you notice, I've still got the number of the verses listed right now. They will come out later. You are greatly despised. It has to be by me. You are greatly despised by me. And I'll just add that here. The arrogance of your heart has deceived you, who lives in the cliffs of the rocks, in the loftiness of your dwelling place. Now, when I mentioned mount, that's what we're talking about here. It's not you who lives in the cliffs of the rocks. That just doesn't make sense. Or in the loftiness of your dwelling place. These words are absolutely not correct. But when we're looking for who edited what in the text, by me changing these words here, there's a lot of times that these adjustments were done later. Sometimes if you watched any of the Psalms, you've seen I took out great big paragraphs or threw out a psalm altogether. But here, this person, when they rewrote the text, put this in, and this person knew of the way this pattern is, because they weren't living in the cliffs of the rocks, they were living on a mount. Now let me explain, let me see if I have a quick picture here. I like using this one, although I need to, I guess, open up a browser, Bible Hub. Let's go to let's go to this is not what I wanted here. This is not working together here today. What I'm looking for is images. Geographical. What I want to do is point out and show you, see how this land is higher over here than here. Over here I'm at over this area here, and you can see that this here is higher than the land over here. This is the hill country. In fact, Moses looked down from the hill country. There are, yeah, here's a good perspective right here. These are the mounts. Okay, here, let's see. These are the mounts across the other side. Okay, and this is the Dead Sea. So this is the mount. This one, this is the mount that we're talking about here. All right. So you can see that it's not really rocks in the cliffs or cliffs of the rocks or whatever. This is just not true. So now that you know that, I think there's other ones here that are better, but you'll find them when you go searching through here, the perspective of the land, and because I know they got some that are cut in half. Anyways, now that you know, this is the same thing here. This is what I'm talking about. But you can see that these are hill country, and Moses looked down, I think, from over here, somewhere in here. But the object is you now know that what's going on there. So this here, I'm going to remove completely. Okay. Who deceived you? Who say in your heart, who will bring me down to earth? Who will bring David down to earth? That isn't it either, because see, we're talking about, they're still trying to connect to here, or they're trying to say that we'll bring our creator down by his nation by taking it over. But that's the difference of the word battle and the word war. A war would be to take over all the land. Battle was for just parts of the land. Okay, that's how I differentiate the words battle and war. And that's all they wanted to do was take it over. They didn't want to go in and take all over all the promised land. They just wanted to take over the east side of the Jordan River. Okay, and I haven't got started, so I try to make these videos 1 hour, and then I'll break this into another section to have 2 parts. Although you build high like an eagle, who say in your heart, who will bring David down. See the word here I'm going to get rid of this word because I'm going to add the word David here, because we have to know that David was the king at this time, and we are talking about the battle that they had, and I just showed you the battle. He defeated them anyway. He sent, I think, his brother to fight the ones Edom, and he went to fight the Armenians. Then whoever was stronger was supposed to come to the other person's aid. but they ran from David, and they, and when the Edom found out, they ran as well, and then they went in and conquered them. Even after the second time, they sent for more help from the Armenians, who said, who said in your heart, and I'm just gonna like if I'm just going to use part of the word, it just means I'm changing that word when I do this. Who said in your heart, let us bring David down. Let us, because remember, okay, the story up here was I have heard a report from YV, and their envoy was sent to the Armenians because it was concerning Edom. Okay, now this, I wanted just to make sure that you understood that. That's why I'm correcting this down here. I guess the next time I'll learn to do a little bit better on the start up of what's going on here. Let us bring David down. Although, I would put although you built, you are not built, you are high like an eagle, higher, although you are higher like an eagle. And this would be when you're turning and looking, their land is up higher. So this is the understanding that the text has to be. Although you are higher like an eagle, this doesn't make any sense. Though you are set, though you set your nest among the stars, this is just not true. That can't possibly be done. From there I will bring you down. Now, here, I'm going to get rid of that. And here, I'm going to make all this to understand. I gotta correct all the text to be like that. When our Creator is speaking, I make His words all bold and all capital letters. And when I do Jesus, his punctuation will be the first letter. Say like he walked, I will have the J and the W both capitalized, and then they'll be turned red in color as a representation for the eye to quickly see what's going on. The green I use for angels. From there I will bring you down like a thief came to you in the night. From there I'll bring you down, not if, like thieves coming into, because thieves and robbers are the same thing, but thieves and being ruined is the same thing. So like thieves coming to you, I'm going to put at night, I'll put it down here, here, and then we'll bring this back. Like thieves coming to you at night. Maybe I should bring the text up a little clearer. Sorry about that. How you will, well, I'm reading and I see that this is a break. And here's the other thing, I better turn off all this spacing and stuff, make it a little bit clearer for you. I work with it like that, so I'm used to it. I'm sorry. Um, like thieves coming to you at night, you'll be ruined by what they will steal until they had enough. Like thieves coming to you at night, they will steal until they had enough. That's pretty much. So this, although they added it, they won't be ruined. You don't. When you're destroying their kingdom, he's going to destroy their kingdom. So he's not going to put it in a ruin. A ruined would be like a desolate place afterwards. You're ruined. It's just shattered. Everything has been pillaged and left alone and taken into captives. And David didn't do that. They would, like thieves coming to you at night, to steal until they had enough. I'm getting rid of words that try to make it as short as possible and still kind of keeping the meaning of what this is. They would not steal until, well, to steal until they had enough. You're just getting rid of nonsense words there, or a doubling of the words. Okay, sorry about that. If grape gatherers came to you, they would not leave some gleaning. Okay, here we go. Because what I'm seeing here is when I broke them up into two, I can see these two verses going together, which made it, we now have a 4-verse grouping and not just a 2-verse grouping. And that will be done later, but this is really anyways, I was just looking to see how those two were going to be grouped together, and they reasonably could be. How Esau would be ransacked. Now, Esau is Jacob's older brother, and he is the father of the children. Actually, this is where he left at the time Israel separated from their father's land. Remember, they were in the land of Canaan. There wasn't a lot of land to be divided. Both brothers had a lot of children, 12 children each, or 12 sons each, and that meant they had a lot of rams, and Esau just went and said, I'm going to go find some other land that nobody's on, and I'm going to live there, and he became ruler or king, and it became a kingdom. It passed down to his sons as well. How Esau will be ransacked like his hidden, and his hidden treasures will be not searched out, will be lost. Or could I use the word pillaged? Yes, because David went in, told him to give me the gold and silver. So pillaged would be a good word here, or plundered. I can't, if you're new here, I can't spell, okay? Plundered, ED here. And then I have to do this to say, wow, I guessed right. But anyways, his hidden treasures will be plundered. And now you know why it takes so long to do one of these. And it might take several hours to do this, but for historical reasons behind what I'm doing, I think this is very important for me to leave everything here for everybody to see. How Esau will be ransacked, for his hidden treasure will be. And I'm reading and trying to correct too much. What I'm trying to do is just find the right sentences right now. So let me get on with this, because we're at 31 minutes and I've got to get going here. So let me just try to go through here quickly as I go. All the men allied with you will send you forth to the border. The men at peace with you who deceive you will overpower you. That isn't the truth, though. All the men allied with you will send you forth to the border. And the men at peace with you will deceive you and overpower you. They will deceive you and weaken you. They didn't overpower them. So this word has to be weakened. The ones that agreed to go fight and then didn't fight, you know, a king has to go out and kind of gather and kind of tell his people, and then the men at peace with you, they were in part of partaking of this discussion, will deceive you and weaken you. Okay. All the men who allied with you, all the men allied with you will send you, not you forth to the border, will send you the men who allied with you. Because here, I'm going to put this map up again so you have an idea. See, David came and they fought about here, the Armenians, and these were coming here. So this is a second mount, or it's the third mount, really. So, and this is a river, and this was used as a boundary, okay? Because it's so high up, the water was running down this way to the Jordan River, and I believe it's this way. Maybe it's not continued right here. I see it's black. Let me make sure that, because I want to make sure that, yeah, that's black. So that, no, that river isn't coming from up there. It's draining from here and here. But anyways, because I've got David coming from Hebron. Okay, now this, when I said it was later in life, no, he only ruled for 7 years in Hebron. So this is where he came over to here. Okay, now I'm remembering the story here. He went and sent some, David went, the king died over here. Now in David's life, David had to seek a safe place from Saul, who was trying to kill him. And David ended up coming down here and hiding out here, and Saul didn't come down to try to take over Edom or fight Edom, because they are brothers, half brothers, or brother, uncles, so they're family. And then David, when he becomes king, this king here, I can't remember his name right now, died, and he sent some men to go tell him that David wants to feel your sorrow. Sorry, but this king's son had advisors that said, well, David come to spy out the land so he can take over the land. So this is why the story is that they went and sought help to come out and battle David's, because actually I think he stripped down the guys that came from David, and they had to walk back naked, and then they were left. David met him in Jericho, and then this is the story what's happened here. So now that you understand a little bit more and correctly understand the time, I'm trying to still think in my mind, because I have this path that David fought, and then he must come down here and fought. Or David went to fight here and they came to fight here. So it must be they went to this river. Send you to the river. Okay. I needed something to help me here. We'll send you to the water border. Let me see here. Yeah, because this would have been a border. The waters border. I'm going to put rivers borders, because that means these two rivers somewhere in here. And David went and fought here, and his brother fought here. Okay. Oh, sometimes these need to be well thought out here. Send you, the men allied with you will send you to the rivers for borders. Then that now we have made as truthful as we can. And that way, other people, when they go study in the text, they will know that this is where the battle is at. And these words were more truthful from our Creator. Remember, our Creator's explaining these. And it's nice to see them matching up with our Creator's hidden formats. Okay. They who ate your bread will set an ambush for you. This wasn't true. This here isn't true. When you have words in a parenthesis, it means that that was not in the text to begin with. But when they went searching through the manuscripts, they found this was in a few of them, so they thought that they would just put that into the text and say that this is part of what should have been written. There is no understanding in him. Well, the only thing is that absolutely has nothing to do with what's going on here. Will deceive you and weaken you. I will not say on that day, declares YHVH, destroy wise men from Edom. Destroy wise men from Edom. And understand from the mountain, and it's the mount for. I'm going to change that to 4. And it's not Esau, it's Edom. So we'll change this to Edom. Mountain for Edoms. Tenma, that's not. That I believe is a city. Oh, that's the chief priest or The king, it's the king of Edom. But I don't think that's the guy's name. Okay, but that's the king of Edom. Okay, then your mighty men. In order that everyone may be cut off from the mountain, see by slaughter. Now this means it needs to be cut like that. In understanding, I will not on that day, because this is just a repeat. We know our Creator. Why would our Creator say, I'm declaring YV? That's what happens when you put in his name and he's telling about himself as his own name. So we know that those words were added. I will not on that day destroy the wise men from Edom, and understanding from the mount for Edom. I will not on that day destroy all the men from Edom. Example, David was now to, you got to remember, when our Creator told him to go into the promised land, he had him killing women, children, animals, and everything, for the simple fact that when you read the text, they were having sex with animals, so that you know they were having gay sex all over the place, incest all over the place. Well, kill them all, and that was his law that he put down. Kill every one of them that are like that. Even rape was to be killed. They were supposed to be killed for rape. I will not on that day destroy. No, I will not on that day destroy all the men from Edom. Destroy all. This has to be. This has to be all men, for the simple fact that men do the battle. From Edom. I'm trying to think. This would have to be. Then your might will be. What do they have for dismay? This is where this comes in pretty good, because when I can't think of a word, I go to the text here, and it tells me that, because this is new and this would be the first one, people would be watching this video and maybe not know what I'm doing, but if they're watching all the rest of them, editor's mistakes. Where's the one I use all the time? How do I have it buried? Okay, let me just use this one here. When the text is used for this here in the Hebrew text, and it's got over here the English spelt word out for this here word in Hebrew. They used all these words every time this word popped up on the Hebrew side, and this is the problem. And this is when you think that they're really being truthful, this hits to the heart every time a Christian sees this. They kind of like, what did they do? For example, here they use the word put 192 times. Yet over here they use the word abandon once. Now, how do you put and abandon at the same time? I mean, it's just incredible. Down here, delivered 25 times. You can say, okay, but then it says put, and then it's got the word give or given. I mean, here it's 540 times. And yet I know that if I go find the word give, we're going to find another Hebrew word. So this is how destroyed the text really is. But not anymore. We're trying to put it back. So this is what I'm doing is I'm looking up this word here to see what they use it for. They did use it dismayed 26 times, frightened once, shattered 9 times, terrified 8 times. So shattered, break once, cracked once, but it's pretty much dismayed or shattered. Your might will be shattered. So I will correctly put that word in, get rid of that word. Then your might will be shattered, and then it would be to this king. Okay. Then your might will be shattered, in order that everyone may be cut off under you. And this here is they didn't go up there and now I know they slaughtered them in the battle, but they didn't go in and kill everyone. And so what I'm seeing here, because up here, this understanding from the mountain, this here doesn't seem to be the correct. I can see them trying to tie the word wisdom and understanding from the mountain, but it doesn't follow what our Creator is trying to tell them. He's telling them, we'll awaken you. I will not. And usually I represent that as a yellow, that I went from one, just pulled the word over. I will not on that day destroy all men and Edom, but your might your mightiness will be shattered. I don't know, this just kind of sticks out. But your might will be shattered in order that everyone now let's see, in order that everyone may be cut off. I'm trying to see if I can put this word here, down here, tenement and everyone. Tenement and everyone for him. I'm thinking will be cut off. What do we got for cut off here? Will be destroyed. Yeah, makes are made 100 times, cut off 138 times, but it's pretty much destroyed. Is only used like 4 times, failed once. Tenement and everyone for him that may be cut off will be. And this was going back to the point of the word up here at the top that I was talking about, uh, small. Right here is what we're getting at. But your might will be shattered. Your strength will be shattered. Your might, I guess might would be better because we're talking about nobody attacking him, him being a strong king at that time, or at least his father was. And now these guys are probably wanting to take over his spot. Will be shattered. Tenement and everyone for him will be cut off. I guess that's the best it would be for at this time here on the word cut off. Okay, I'm going to go real quick here. Because of the violence of your brother Jacob, you will be covered with shame. On the day you stood aloft, the stranger carried away his wealth. The foreigners entered his gate, cast lots for Jerusalem. Well, Jerusalem doesn't even exist yet. Hold on. So the thing here is this is idiot. You're putting a lot too much in here. Not truthful here. Because of the violence to your brother Jacob, he never did any violence to his Jacob, not in the text that we know. We know that he threatened to kill him for taking his birthplace as the one who receives the better share of the wealth from the father. Tenement, every one of him will be cut off. They will be covered. Because when the kingdom comes to the end, they considered it a shame. They will be covered with shame. And cut off forever. See, this is never more to be no more ever more. Edom will never be more is what this is talking about. But that'll come through when I do it the next time. On that day you stood aloft, on the day the strangers carried off as well. That didn't happen. Foreigners entered his gate and cast out. That didn't happen. You two were one of them, he was not. Do not gloat over your brother's day of his misfortune. This they didn't do. Israel went to Egypt on his own. And this, they would have not known this at the time of the battle here, or they would have. But Jerusalem did not exist. Do not rejoice over this. In the day of their destruction. When did Judah have this destruction? They really didn't. Yes, do not boast the day of their distress. Do not enter the gates of my people. On the day of their distress, do not gloat over their calamity. On the day of their distress, do not loot their wealth. On the day of their distress, do not stand the fork of the road and cut down the fugitives. Do not imprison our survivors on the day of the dress, for the day of the Lord is near for all nations. This is well written, but this doesn't go with this text. This is separate. And that's what happens when you do these. You find out that there's different texts. On the day you stood aloft, strangers carried off as well. Foreigners entered his gate and cast lots for Jerusalem. Now this could only be at the time of Babylon, which is 200 years later, 300 years later. You two were one of them, and do not go over your brother's day of misfortune. Do not rejoice with son death. Do not. These words are repetitive, and I just get rid of what's repetitive. And then you can see that that's going to be up here, and that's going to. So what they've done is they've cut and spliced from someplace else. Do not boast in the day of their distress. Do not gloat over the calamity. Because this is the day our Creator coming back, or doing this. It's his day. He's talking about the end when Nebuchadnezzar comes in. This is a warning. At a different time. Do not rejoice over their sons of Judah, sons from Judah. Do not enter the gates of my people. Do not gloat over their. I think that's a loss. Disaster. They're evil 115 times. Disasters 19 times. Sorry. Calamity, it was 50 times, 49 times. I would use disaster though, because we're talking about ruining them. So I guess use the word disaster. Draw nearest to all nations. They're already gone. So you have done, will be done to you. No. Unless this is our Creator claiming what's going to happen to Babylon. Now this text would come from Jeremiah. He was the last prophet at the time. Isaiah was just before him. Or this could be like Haggai, who was at the time when they returned. As you have done it to them, it will be done to you. On your head, just because you drank on my holy mountain, holy hill. Mountain is just the wrong word, and it's not his holy hill. That's just wrong. My hill would be Jerusalem, and all nations will drink continually. They shall drink salt and become as if they never existed. Well, we know that that's not true. We don't want our creator lying, do we? Because like they never existed. We talked today about all those. They're written in the text for us to remember. But on Mount Zion, there were those who escaped. He'll be holy in the house of Jacob. Possess their possessions, then the house of Jacob will be a fire. Well, this is already gone at this time, so all of a sudden it's kind of back to the text. This is separate. This is just separate. Yes, this text is separate, and I'm already in my hour, so. But you can see that this is going to be separate because we're back to Esau. But the kingdom of Esau will be as. But that's what's going to happen anyway. I mean, he's already told us up here that you'll be cut off. You'll be covered with shame, cut off forever. So this here is not true. Can this text go up above the other text? And this here would be the end of. Usually this is the end. And he didn't spoke, and this is prophesied. Our Creator prophesizes in the past tense. It's prophesied. Then those in Nineveh will possess the mountain. Now this is in the middle of the territory here. So those in Nineveh will possess the mountain of Esau, and those of wherever Palestinian plain also. They'll possess the territory in the territory of Samaria. Now Samaria is not any territory at all. The tribes never said that their land is going to be renamed after not a son from Israel. So the thing here is when they use Samaria like that, that's wrong. That's a city. In fact, it was the capital city for the kingdom of Israel. Started out as Bethel at Saul's time. Benjamin didn't conquer nothing. This is wrong. This is not truthful. This is not truthful. Canaan exiles most of Israel. Canaanites were gone back at the promised land time. There is no more Canaanites. You don't. I have a problem when the text carries on like that. Like there's Canaanites at Jesus' time. That's 1,000 years after they were destroyed by Joshua. No, this is just out. None of this is truthful anywhere else in the text. So I'm going to end this one here, and then I'm going to copy this text, get rid of a lot, and then try to get closer to the end product or the end of the restoration here real quick. Yep.